Good morning, everyone. Sound a bit rough. We'll be doing this with Elise if I can figure out how to get Elise to join it. It's just going to be an unboxing of the new ones. Yeah, it's going to be unboxing the new ones and seeing what they're like. Obviously, I'm very full of cold, so I don't sound the greatest, but yes, we shall. Hang on. I'll just. Did that work? Oh, five with. We're just waiting for this to work. Oh, there we are.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you all right?
We figured it out between the two of us.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm terrible at technology. Right. I'll just start opening it, I suppose. You had a good day?
Busy. Yeah, I don't really know what you'd call a good day at like an old person's care home.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're better
Yeah.
than my sister. She'd be swearing about now and complaining. Yeah.
Uh, when you
Right.
when you asked last night when I was available, I was going to be really mean and just say like I couldn't do it for about a week.
I'd have to X-ray it or something, wouldn't I? Right. Here we go. It's been really hard actually not to open it. It's just second nature just to go, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Is it nice and
I have
sunny down there?
no. It's the middle of winter. It's freezing.
I suppose so. Yeah, but you're freezing in probably like our tropical days, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, maybe.
Right. And there. Right. Uh, Right. We'll start with the peony one, or peony, as us British people call it. Do you
Okay.
want to tell us a bit about it?
So there's not really much to tell. It's two main accords really, fresh peony and white musk.
Uh-huh.
And it was made
Lucky.
for a florist boutique as their custom scent. However, they're shutting down now.
Uh-huh.
So I just stole the rest of my bottles back.
It's not. I'll be honest. It's normally not a note I love because in a lot of perfume it goes really kind of shampooey, doesn't it? And it's
I think you've just sprayed the Forgotten Highway. Did I put them in the wrong box?
you did, and I hadn't noticed that. Yes.
No.
What a start.
I think that is definitely the first time I have ever done
It's only me, so
that.
it's okay there. It's. I was gonna say it doesn't smell like peony at all. It's This is really nice actually. Again, I've got a cold, so I'm not gonna be giving the greatest example of it ever. But hmm, it's. I don't know what It's always wrong to expect stuff from the notes and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a lot fresher than I imagined.
Yeah, I actually, it's a funny one because when I first had it in mind, the concept was definitely a little bit more brutal. And then when it had been sitting for a little while, and I gave it a smell, I was like, oh, that's actually rounded out like really nicely. And I guess with the inspiration behind it, you don't actually want something super brutal anyway.
No, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what this one's about? We've got the wrong one there.
Uh, so that's got a whole bunch of New Zealand ingredients in it, probably the most native New Zealand ingredients out of all my collection. Um,
Hmm.
and and the inspiration behind it is the older folk that I take care of at the dementia care center and hospital, because there's
Right.
a lot of there's a lot of there's not really a specific thing. There's just a lot of little moments that really like hit you about having like a job like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
and I just like with all the residents, we get a lot of residents passing on regularly.
Yeah.
It's quite sad, and it does like it hits you because you see them every day and they become a part of your life.
Yeah.
And so I've had it on my mind for a little while to put something in a bottle for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Have they smelt it? Have they experienced it?
No.
No.
I'm I'm not 100% sure that would be a good idea because they just would have no they're um so the people who have dementia where I work are very, very far
Yeah.
gone, like very
Yeah.
advanced. So you might get 30 seconds of something normal out of them in like a
Yeah.
fortnight. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm not the only one here saying this. I don't know how you do the job. I mean, I understand somebody's got to do it, but it must be unbearably hard, really. I know I couldn't
Yeah.
do it at
It
all.
it is, but it's a very fulfilling
Oh,
job.
yeah,
I
yeah,
never imagined myself doing it. And then last year when I went to Europe and then came
yeah,
back, I suddenly just felt like I had a really good time, and um I I like really spoiled myself, and it felt like such a luxury holiday. But then when I got home, I felt so empty. I was like, there's got to be more to life than just this. Like trips are great, but
yeah.
you can't keep taking these sort of trips all the time to kind of make your life fulfilling. You
No,
know what I mean?
I get that. And
Yeah.
you're helping people, I suppose, who've got no other option, and
Yeah.
obviously they've got no, they wouldn't be there, and you're making their last days, if you like, something, some sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
existence, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, and that's it too. Like it's actually like it's an honor for us taking care of them to be able to be there for their last days.
Yeah, yeah. We're
Yeah.
not going to get massively deep here, but my biggest fear in life is losing my mind. That's my biggest kind of, losing my essence of who I am and that. So,
Yeah.
do do you get them at the later stages,
Y-
or is it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
usually at the later stages when the families just can't take care of them anymore.
yeah,
Like they're actually a
yeah.
danger to people around them and themselves.
Yeah, this is not what we're here to talk about, but yeah, I think it is kind of it. Your job is such a big part of you, and obviously, this is a good example of what we get in your perfumery, your life and your experience.
Yeah.
My granddad had Alzheimer's, and him and my grandma, I think, been married about 60 years, and then he just
Wow.
felt so awful for my grandma because he didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
So it was like he died there, if you
Yeah.
like, for her, but he was still physically there, and that I can't imagine how hard that must be really for someone.
Yeah, there's a lot of another thing that really inspired me was so you go into their rooms and you see these really, really old pictures on the wall. They've got war medals, they've got so much to them.
Yeah,
And you just look at them and you're just like, wow, like you were like really somebody.
yeah, yeah. And now they're
Yeah,
just a different person, a different, yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Well, the fragrance itself, I have to say, I'm always going to say this. I hate this, Elise. It's every single one. Oh, I love this, but it is really good. Like you say, I don't recognise much about it because why would it? It's obviously strange alien notes to me, isn't it? But
Yeah, yeah,
it it is green, but there's from what I can sniff with my block nose, there's a sweetness about it as well, and it's
Yeah, yeah. There's
not.
the so the pahutakawa in it, which is a New Zealand ingredient, almost coats the pecan nuts in it.
Uh-huh. Oh, there's
Yeah, so I
pecans
think
in it, is there?
yeah, because that's another thing I saw is that the old men at the care home, they really love to eat nuts. And it's funny because you walk into their rooms and you just that's the first thing you smell. And so to me, I've never been a person who's interested in nuts in a perfume, but I was like, it has to be in there because it's actually such a prominent thing kind of in
Yeah.
their lives. Yeah.
Is that some of the greenness about it then, the pecans?
The green, no, the greenness will be the New Zealand fern.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously I will be smelling this when I can smell it, but no, I like it. It's. I'm trying to think of the word to describe it because it's not powdery. It's like this ozonic powder, really. Or maybe that's all I
yeah.
can
That
smell. But
that might be the New Zealand lavender coming through.
oh,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
I
Hey
like
to
this. Go on.
everyone.
Yeah.
I
My
can't keep
fear.
up with all the messages coming up.
Yes, I know, I know. What I'll do is when we finish waffling on and I've finished pattering on because I talk too much, well, if we ask if anyone's got any questions or anything, and then we can do that. Because
Okay.
hi everyone, right, right, we'll go for this one. So the peony one was from a shop. Can you see the front of the box? Of course you
Yes.
can. Hang on, hang on.
So
Oh, there you go. And this one, yes, this is peony pageantry. So yes, I know I struggle with usually, but I'm
see it,
excited.
and see it's funny because when I first made it too, of course you're making it for someone else, so you can't be too picky yourself,
Yeah,
just because it's not what you would wear. So I was like, when I handed it over, I was really happy with it, but it's definitely something I wouldn't have worn myself. And then the funniest thing is I got all the bottles back and I randomly decided to spray it on myself. And the more I spray it on myself, the more I like it. And all of a sudden I like peony too when
yeah.
I wasn't a fan of it either.
It's not what I again. Thankfully, it's not quite what I expected, but it's not shampooy. It actually smells like a
No,
peony.
no,
So that's really nice.
yeah, anything. It's quite funny how many perfumes, when you first start developing them, they turn shampooy.
Yeah.
And usually the moment mine do that, it's just down the drain and start again because I can't do it either. I find it so weird when you smell a perfume and it just smells like cheap supermarket shampoo.
Oh, there's so much of that about, isn't
Yeah,
there? Oh, yeah. No, like I say, it's like the flower. It's the geranium or something in it. It's got like a slight, to me, it's like a tea rose in my head, but geranium has a little bit of a kind of metal.
I
It's not metallic, but that little bit of a something. Or is that the
it's
peony?
it's got my so the peony accord contains my dew accord, which
Right.
is also in a rose for the mist.
Ah, yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, I like this. Did I say a rose for a miss was a bit metallic? God knows. I don't know.
I don't know, but I do know you're not a fan of a rose for the mist.
Rose is one of the that's kind of true. Rose is a really tricky note. I think it
Yeah,
is for all of us. I think it's my one kind of fragrance world note because we all, when we start, got I hate rose, I hate rose, I really hate
yeah,
it, and nobody can imagine liking it. But you always find a
yeah,
rose for you, don't you? So
yeah. I literally have the same thing. I really struggle with rose because I find a lot of roses turn like old lady on me.
yeah,
So yeah, I do know exactly what you mean.
it's got a sweetness now, like a how do you describe it? It's like a fruity rose, not a fruit, but you know what I mean, like a more of a kind of fruity. It's making my mouth water. Again, this is the first thing I've smelt all day, so
Yeah.
no, I like this one. I'm s- I don't mean to sound so surprised. Oh, I like it after all,
Well, I was actually sitting here thinking, because I know you were really excited about Ever Never, excuse me, and when it turned up, it wasn't what you expected, and it didn't react well to your skin. So I was
yeah,
sitting there
yeah,
before jumping on here, thinking to myself, "Oh no! Like I hope this doesn't do the same thing, especially because we're live."
yeah. Oh, yeah. Ever Never makes me so sad because on a strip, it's really nice and that, but because there's so much in it that I absolutely love, isn't there?
Yeah,
It should have been the fragrance for me, but on my skin, yeah, it's my skin amplifies kind of sweet stuff or bitter stuff, and it just makes it really big and that. So
yeah.
yeah. Is there anything else you want to tell us? You got any news? Are you going anywhere soon, Elise?
Well, I'm going to Las Vegas in 4 weeks,
Oh, that's
which
something to look
I'm
forward to.
super excited about, but super stressed out about.
Just be you.
Yeah,
It'll go
I
great, won't
it,
it?
it's more the build up to it. Like I have a lot to do.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and just trying to find the time to actually get it done. But I guess in the end, like what I take there, and what I don't, I don't. Yeah,
Is this your first kind of big event away from it? Because I know you went to a Sance or whatever it is, but you didn't go
yeah.
as like Elise the perfumer, did you?
No, so this is my first ever showcase. I have looked at things like Essence, but to get into Essence, you need to pay 5,000 euros.
Bloody
So,
hell.
unless your staff is selling like 50 bottles a day, Essence is so far out of the reach um, of so many people. Which is a shame because you do miss out on a lot of on a lot of the little guys who do
Yeah.
have a lot of really good stuff, but just can't manage to pull that sort of thing together.
Do you know what? There's part of me not surprised by that, but I'm really disappointed. They should have a day, shouldn't they? I mean, it's there long enough for small brands. Otherwise, it's always going to be monopolized by the same brands all the time, isn't it? And people who
Yeah,
go to these perfume events are actually interested in perfume. So it seems stupid that they're not letting the more creative, smaller brands have more of a chance, really. I'm
yeah,
disappointed
yeah.
with that. So.
Yeah, I think Pitti Fragranza in Florence, that's a little bit more within reach, but to be honest, not by much. I have come across the expo, the Beauty World Expo in Dubai, which happens in October. And
Yeah.
there's there's little stands for the little guys, which is a lot more affordable, ranging up to your big ones.
Yeah.
So that might also be an option this year, but we'll see.
I mean, there is in the UK, we have is it the Barnes Festival, which is down south. It needs to be up north, but we have that, and I think that's all indie brands. And I
Okay.
don't know if you've heard of them. I know Maybellarama, to the Fairest London, and our smaller indie brands like that go
Is
to that.
that um is that something 4160 Tuesdays goes to? I
I
may have
think
seen it on
yes,
her
yes,
Instagram.
I can remember the pictures.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the pictures. So yeah, so but I suppose the issue with that is yes, we could get your fragrances, but it, it's the logistics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, again, with you not being based here, kind of thing. So
Yeah. Yep.
I
And
have to say,
that
sorry,
no,
go on.
you go.
No,
No,
I was
you
going
go.
to say these came, given the hassle and the fuss with really quickly, and I don't know how they got through customs like that. They would have just straight through. So, yeah,
Yeah.
but no, go on.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So logistically, coming from like the other side of the world, so I'm really lucky because the show in Las Vegas, um, they give you they give you a table and you kind of sort the rest. All these other shows, you have to turn up with so much stuff, and
Yeah.
traveling with that much stuff is just like it's actually it is more hassle than it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, and it doesn't favour the smaller brand, does it?
Yeah, I think though, and I this might be really like controversial to say, but I think maybe part of that might be intentional. And I only say that because the indie indie fragrance creators do get a lot of shade thrown at them for not
Yes.
being um,
French educated.
certified, yeah,
Yeah.
certified perfumers. Like we're not allowed to call ourselves perfumers, which is fine. I don't mind calling myself an artist, but for the indies who do want to call themselves a perfumer, it's it's not nice because some of their stuff is more creative than some of the stuff who do get taught by the book.
Yeah. Well, you know my opinion on this, and it's quite a strong opinion. I've just done an interview with Cherie, the top note, who's based in Australia, and
Yeah,
one of my questions was kind of about that. Is I even feel sorry for the perfumers now because the stuff that perfumers, the stuff that's coming out is so similar, so generic, so soulless, so dead. And like you say, it doesn't matter how you're trained or so whatever. You're artists, and I just
yeah,
feel perfumery is really mass marketed. Perfumery is dead. It's so
yeah,
soulless, and I,
yeah,
you have the freedom to create these fantastic things, and I suppose they're just going into work like robots. Create a version of Baccarat Rouge, create an Aventus thing. Don't make it the same, but create, it's just, that must be so soul destroying, really.
yeah. Well, then it's a job, it's not a passion.
Yeah. And then obviously, like you say, they don't want you to be successful because then people go, what is this dross we're paying £400 for? When
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
interesting things out there. I get it. It's
yeah,
like, is it that in every industry, isn't it? The music industry, whatever. It's whoever they tell us we're supposed to like that are
yeah,
successful, isn't it?
yeah.
But yes, I've waffled. Right, Paul's got a question there. And then if anyone else has got any questions. Oh,
So
sorry, I don't know
Paul,
if you can
I
see it. Yeah. Oh, you got it.
I can see Paul's one. I am in the Wairarapa, so just north of Wellington.
That I only know roughly where you are because of the tracking map. So, a long way from Auckland, anyway, by the looks of it.
Yes, an 8-hour drive from Auckland. Yeah.
Oh, minute. So I suppose that island must be about the size of the UK, is it? It's hard to tell on a map because the UK is always huger than it actually is.
Yeah, I think you can drive the North Island top to bottom in 11 hours. And I think the South Island is roughly the same.
So you're a much bigger country than us, really. I think ours is about that. Although in reality, because of how crap our roads are, it's probably about 3 days or something.
Yeah, I
Um,
honestly probably don't think ours are much better.
well, I think they are. Trust me. Trust me. It's terrible there. So has anyone else got any questions? What I will say is, whilst there's witnesses here, because I need to do this for me as well, we will do a live some point this year where I'm actually on it. Because
We we get to see your face.
yes, I mean yours is the first post I ever did where you almost saw me. Well, it was taken. Dame, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that, and I felt quite honoured actually.
Yes, it's rare. It's kind of always look rough, especially now at this time in the morning. Um,
Yeah.
did no one any questions? I've got lots of questions, but I don't want to take it over. Uh, no, right. What have you got planned for this year after America? Is there anything in the works? I'm not saying tell us much about them, but or you wait until next year?
Yeah. I actually don't have any plans. As
Yeah,
I said, I did the live yesterday with the guys in America, and I don't I don't plan things. If
yeah.
if I find inspiration in something, I begin to create something. I don't look for inspiration because that's not how it works. So like this year, you know, for example, you've had Forevermore, Living Bikini Loca, The Forgotten Highway. Who knows? There might be another scent, and then some years, like it's a struggle to put one together.
No, that's kind of how it should be, isn't it? You're not
Yeah,
contracted to pump out stuff as and
yeah,
when.
yeah. And
And I mean,
I think, sorry.
no, no, go on, go on.
I think too, like I don't want to become one of those brands that kind of um sounds probably like in my head it, it makes sense, but I don't want to pump out stuff regularly because then people kind of think you're just pumping out stuff to make money,
Yeah, and
because then you
fill
might
a
end
void
up
as
as
such, isn't it?
well,
Yeah.
yeah, and you might just end up releasing something quite mediocre that actually just doesn't stand up to your brand.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, again, that's the mass marketing stuff. You've got brands releasing 10 a year or something. You've got to sit down and think, how good is this stuff? How well thought out is this stuff? You're just chucking it out to keep your name there, isn't it, really? And it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
shame.
yeah, we'll see. And I do understand that though, because in like the market is flooded with
Yeah.
fragrances and new artists and stuff. So sometimes, if I guess if you solely rely on your perfumes, which I don't do, so that's good for me, you probably would feel like you need to chuck stuff out to stay relevant and keep people talking about you, and you know.
I don't know if that's true because there's you like my two favorite, not just because they're indie, is you and April Aromatics, and you're not churning out stuff all the time. And I talk about these a lot because I really love what's coming out. And there's a phrase, I don't know if it's in New Zealand, if you chuck enough something at the wall, something's going to stick, and that's like what the mass marketed stuff is, isn't it? Really.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
it's like fast fashion. It's just, oh, that's great. Next.
yeah,
And that's such a shame. I mean, I'm guilty. I have far too many. But I'm not going to lie. I have probably about 20 that I just adore. And they're the ones that, yeah, I'm not going to cut my collection down to 20, but I've got
yeah,
about 20 that, you know what I mean? That you keep going back to and they're an
yeah,
experience and a joy to wear. So,
yeah.
yeah.
But
I also, go on.
I think too, like, um, if you, so for like instance, I don't know if April does, but does April Aromatics, does she make her own juice?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that's really good for us because we create our own juice. So we know how much we've got to sell. We know how much we've got to really push it. Um,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But when you're a brand who goes and gets 10,000 bottles made, or even 1,000 bottles made, like that's a lot of money. Um, you have to mass market it. Like you've got no choice because your money's sitting right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the same actually with Tanya of April Aromatics. Her batches run out quite quickly, so
Yeah,
it's in a way, I suppose that's really good for you guys because you can see what actually is going and what perhaps it isn't. So you can make more of the ones that are going, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
and
for
then the other
sure.
one. Yeah, the other ones, they're not that they're not selling, there's just more niche, aren't they? Which again isn't
Yeah,
a bad thing.
yeah.
But yeah, do you have a favourite creation of yours? I think I might have asked you this before.
You know what's funny? My kids asked me the same question the other day, and my response was, it really depends what mood I'm
Yeah,
in, because
yeah,
I will
yeah.
quite literally wear any of my creations, um, depending on how I feel.
Doesn't it feel weird wearing your own creations? Not not
Um,
that there's anything wrong with it, but you know what I mean? If I made something, I don't know. Obviously, you're
I
making
think,
it for you, with you in mind, aren't you? So,
yeah, yeah. I think at first it was really strange, and I felt a little bit off, because I thought that if someone smelt me and said, "What are you wearing?" and I was like, "Oh, it's mine," I would come off like really like snobby and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but you get over that. You know, you get over the feeling of judgment and all that, and you just go with it. I mean, I live in a small country town of people who are not interested in fragrances at all. So if I
yeah.
say to someone, "Oh, I'm wearing my own creation," they're like, "Oh, yep," and you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people in the world aren't like us, are they? They must think we're really insane. What
yeah.
what I was going to say is that I just did something. Did watch that live last night. Bearing in mind I was tired. Something I didn't know that stuck out to me is Top Shelf and where it's got its name, and I keep seeing it in my mind because I know what that's like.
Yeah,
A reaction to that fragrance could have been very different. Do you think that name
very,
would have stuck? Yeah.
very. I really like in that moment. I literally had that feeling of, okay, ground, just open up and swallow me,
Yeah, yeah.
because someone
Yeah, it
is gonna
could
tell
have been
me,
called Funky, couldn't it, or
yeah,
something? I think
yeah.
there. Yeah,
I was sure like the person was gonna come out and tell me that I smelled like the farm or something,
yeah.
you know.
No, that's a lovely one. I didn't realise as well. Was there 14 there, 16,
There's
something like that? I didn't realise there's so
there's
many.
14, so there's
Yeah.
14. There would have been 16 if I hadn't of discontinued Amore and Luton Boots.
Now, I never smelled Luton Boot actually. Amore, yes, and I can see why you've not gone on with that. As much as I love it, I don't want to say to everyone and make rub it into them. That's a shame they missed out in it. But my God, that is quite a fragrance. Of all the ones you've done, including Top Shelf, it's it's funky, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
really
yeah. I'm with some of them. So Luton Boots, um, I won't be making that again. Something like Amore, maybe in a few years' time, I might, you know, gauge any interest and make another small batch, something like that. It just won't be like a permanent part of the line. However, I do have like really, really, really good news that I haven't actually shared yet with anybody. So I was able to source more ingredients for pitching woo and
oh yes.
and living bikini loca.
But for anyone watching this, no matter what your tastes are, I think Pitching Woo is you've got very approachable ones, but of ones that are really, really likable and not mass market because it's not, but it's
Yeah,
something that you would imagine going into a department store nowadays and spraying and going, wow. So that I
yeah,
think that's really good news for you that that's coming back. Is that one of your fastest selling out ones?
yes, it actually is. And to say I was devastated when I got news from my supplier that I couldn't get one of the ingredients is an understatement. Like I was literally so upset because I
Yeah.
hadn't even had the opportunity to put any aside for myself.
Oh, and then some English bugger stole the last bottle. I mean, no,
Yeah. So I
no,
I done I done like lots of groveling, and they've sourced me a couple of things.
no. That's really good news. It's again, obviously we know what our families are like. They don't care. They don't notice stuff on us anymore. We're there going,
Yeah.
smell me, smell me. But that's one that again weirdly because she's only little, but it's that my niece noticed. Oh, you smell like ice cream, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you've got it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah,
girls, all the women I work with, like I work with obviously a lot of women.
yeah,
And when I did wear the last few sprays of it that day, literally 50% of the staff were like, oh my goodness, you smell so good. Whatever you're wearing, I need some. And my response to all of them was, wow, there's no more and there's never going to be any more.
yeah. So that I'm glad that's coming back. Again, that I know you don't want this kind of thing and you don't want to be big or anything like that, but that would be, I mean, it's date with a dame for me. But for
Yeah.
people to recognize a one-way bridge perfume, I think that could be the one that becomes your brand's signature, really, couldn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's just so, it is so likable. It's such a joy. Um, yeah, and you know what I'm like? I blind buy stuff from you all the time, but sometimes I'll get I'll get the samples, won't I? But then I'm like, oh, I must get it. It's like there's probably I'd expect over the next year there'll be five at least that I'm still missing from you, and one of
Yeah.
them I think would actually be a bottle of Top Shelf. I know I've got the solid, but I think I'm ready. I'm ready for it now.
You're gonna graduate.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I
Because again,
mean,
I was going to say the solid isn't wildly different, but it just is tamer due to the nature of it, isn't it?
yeah,
Really?
top shelf um spray, just wear one spray. Like
Yes.
one
Yeah.
spray is very sufficient
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
for a whole day. I think if you're the only reason you'd spray maybe two or three would be if you're going outside type
Yeah.
thing and it's kind of going to wear off and it's going to sweat off. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul's got a question there. What are the sizes of the bottles that you offer?
So I do 33 mils and 100 ml bottles.
Is there a reason for the 33?
No.
No, it just
I
is.
just
Yeah.
so way back when I started, I had the 100 mil and the 20 mil.
Right.
They then discontinued the 20 mil, and so
Right.
I was like, okay, well, I either go down to 10, which doesn't really seem like enough to me. I
Not
go
enough,
through like a
Elise.
10
Yeah.
mil in like a week type thing. Um, so I just went up to, so they're apparently 30 mil bottles, but when I fill them, I have to put 33 in them. Otherwise, they, like in my
They
eyes,
look empty.
they look like
Yeah.
them. Yeah, they look like they haven't been filled to the top. And I feel like someone would be like, did my bottle leak or something?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I understand. It's something I don't know anything about anything. I'm probably making this up. Isn't it to do with travel and all that jazz? But I'm saying that when you buy a bottle from the shop, there isn't a great big gap at the top of it, is there?
I don't think so. And I do know who you're talking about, because I did see it all over Facebook at some stage. And I can't say I agree with that opinion of the perfume expanding and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
that just doesn't make sense to me. It's not fizzy drink.
No, how
Um,
the hell would it expand? It's. I mean, it's alcohol. It's water, isn't it? It's not gonna.
yeah. If anything, it's going to lose some. If it's in hot cargo for far too long,
Yeah.
it's probably going to evaporate or just do something weird, but you're never going to end up with more in the bottle than the perfumer sent you.
Yeah, again, and it's glass. It's not plastic. I could see plastic could swell maybe with the heat, but yeah,
I don't
that's
think
very weird,
even
isn't it?
even plastic it doesn't, because when I came to Europe last year. I actually had all my perfumes in 2 liter plastic bottles, and then when I got to the UK, I filled them all and packed them all, blah blah blah. Um, and it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought it would be a bad idea to put them in metal because I didn't want metallic rubbing off into the bottle. And also I didn't want to get held up in the airports.
Yeah. 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 Plus, does it just dissolve metal alcohol? I don't know. I'm not a chemist, but I would
It,
imagine alcohol dissolves it.
yeah, I don't. So you can put perfume in plastic
Yeah.
for up to 7 days. You don't do it for more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Do a plastic. I find I can't drink out. You know, they're really popular sucky baby cups, sports cups, or whatever they're called. I can't drink out of that. I can't drink out of plastic because no matter how much you clean it, it's got this really, I don't horrible taste about it, and I can't do it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
again, it
like
must.
it tastes like Barbie doll smell.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. I think we've been here an hour, and you've just finished work. Is there anything you want to tell us, or has anyone got any other questions?
I don't think there's anything more I've got off the top of my head.
No. Again, yeah, I mean, you don't need me to praise you, but you were very good on the lie. I couldn't have done that
Thanks.
really. So
I think probably only because I done the live yesterday with the guys in the US,
yeah,
which I was super nervous about because we had talked about doing it, and then um I think they'd planned to do it like another weekend, and then one of their lives fell through, and then yesterday morning I woke up at 9 a.m., looked at my phone, and they're like, hey, do you want to do that live with us today in 4 hours? And I was like, oh boy. Because you
probably
like
the
you got to
best way though,
mentally.
isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it really was because it didn't give me time to be nervous, and it didn't give me time to like make up stuff.
Yeah,
You just have to go with what's actually the things. You can't make up stories. You can't make up. You have to be honest, and what comes out comes out.
yes, yeah, and I, I don't have anything. This is going to come out all wrong. I don't have anything against Americans, but I'm, I'm a very quiet person, and the three fellas were quite very loud and enthusiastic is the right word, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'd have struggled maybe perhaps with that.
yeah.
So yeah, you were
It
great. You were really great.
was it was a lot of fun, and I do like. I was looking forward to doing this one tonight because I thought, well, kind of done one with you before.
Yeah,
Um, so you're familiar to
yeah,
me. Yeah.
yeah. Yes, it's too familiar, at least too familiar. But yeah, I'd love to do another. It does. You don't have to have had a release and stuff, but I'd love to do another one with you at the end of the year, just to kind of catch up and stuff.
Yeah.
Because pretty much since the day I started, you've kind of been that brand that I've always interacted with and I've always enjoyed. So you're like my scented snowdrops inverted commas brand, if you like, really. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
no, that's really cool. I love, and it's happening more often. I'm having people who buy my stuff, DM me and talk to me like they love my
yeah,
stuff, but they talk to me like I'm a normal person. I don't want to be put up on a pedestal.
yeah.
I'm just a person.
Oh, well, a very
Um,
talented person, but yes, yeah.
no, but
Oh,
I like to relate to people.
yeah. I suppose before we go, actually, I'd forgotten the fragrances. I should probably go back to them. The Forgotten Highway it is now. I understand what you meant now more than when it opened. Is it being a kind of fugere one? Because you can get the lavender. I can smell the lavender now, but it's not.
Yeah,
This is not your dad's aftershave kind of one. There's a lot of, but there's nothing up with your dad's aftershave. But you know what I mean? There's a lot more. It's
yeah,
got that modern feel about it, hasn't it? Really, and it's
yeah. Well, I wanted to give it both because it's actually one of my scents, and I never thought about it till I created it. But I wanted it to be one that people of any age could wear. Like
yeah,
someone young could wear it and it would come off modern, and then someone of the older generation who it was actually made for, well,
yeah.
made in, inspired by, could wear as well, and it wouldn't smell modern and young.
Yeah, yes, yeah, which is what it is exactly. And I think, given what you've made it for, the damn cat, um, it's appealing to them people of that generation that you'd be working with, isn't it? Really, I
Yeah,
suppose. And because it's around dementia and stuff, a smell, something like that, could take them back to a moment in their life, a memory, and that. So, yeah, I really like this one, and as usual from you, it's well thought out. It's got a proper meaning and everything about it. So, really like that one. Um, the Peony one, it's not changed too much actually. It's still
I
Peony
don't,
and that. Because saying that.
yeah,
There's that tea rose in it, is it? But it's nice that.
I don't think it's not a changeable one.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
the
it's
one
it's
to kind of
less
wear.
because of
Yeah,
course it was designed for just a floral boutique. It couldn't be too artistic.
yeah, yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense. I've got one more question, which has just made me think. Do you have any other secret ones out there in little boutiques and stuff?
Um, n- no,
No.
no. I do have, there are a few custom scents
Yeah.
dotted around the world. Yeah, I have been approached a couple of times to make custom scents, but it's very it for me, I need to be given creative
The
freedom. I
freedom, I get
can
that.
Yeah, I cannot be given a brief and make it and put my name to it if I didn't create it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, because yeah.
I don't see it happening anytime soon, but if I was to get married, I definitely would come to you. Because I think you know me reasonably well and stuff, and just something special for that day. Because
Yeah.
I imagine that's what you get a lot of custom things for, like a special one-off thing. Is it like a wedding or something like that?
Yeah, mostly. Or
Yeah,
a birthday present, like a milestone birthday, or last year I had one for um a man wanted to buy his wife something special for Christmas. I don't really know, like I don't know them at all.
yeah.
They actually live in New York.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I was quite surprised to get that request. And it was really cool. He just threw one note at me and said, please make me something that's prominent in this. And I went with it, and he got it, and she got it, and they were absolutely blown away. So that was really, really cool because I guess for him, there was no expectation
yeah,
of what it should have smelled like. It was just, there was obviously something significant about that note to his wife.
yeah. Yeah, that's lovely. And again, you're the sort of person who can just do that. Like I said, you create people in your fragrances for me. They're always a personality, a real. You could. I know I get it in my head when I smell anything, these kind of wild whatever. But with you, it's always the people. It's always a specific person and that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. We shall call it a day because it must take up far too much time. Is if anyone else has got anything to ask, whack 'em. I hate saying cheesy things like this, but put them in the comments or whatever. I'll post this when I figure out how to do it. And thanks for being here, and thank you, Elise, for agreeing to do this and stuff. And it's nervous for me as well, smelling your stuff live, because there is the potential I'll be like, what the so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Which could be quite funny, but we'll leave that for another time.
Yes, yes. All right then, thank you. Have a good rest of the night, and thank you, folks. Right, bye-bye.
Thank you for
Bye.
having me. Bye.
Bye.